Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19. Thank you so much for your support. So, we are going to talk a little bit about the Indiana Fever, a major achievement for them. But I also want to take what I think might be a little bit of a different spin that I want to talk to you about as well. And I want to hear your thoughts on the matter on this below. But as you can see here, the Indiana Fever will be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I believe it's out. I'm actually going to run over to the local Barnes and Noble here in a little bit and see if I can get a copy if it's still there. They actually still make magazines, I believe. Uh, but anyway, as you can see, Sports Illustrated WNBA preview issue. Very cool cover, I have to say. Very cool cover. I know that you're going to get people to be like, well, why is it just those four? Where's Sophie Cunningham? You know, and on and on. You know the thing, but it's a cool cover. Okay. The more people you have, the smaller they get on that. I got to say, for the WNBA preview, when you're talking about the Indiana Fever, I'm glad that it's not just Caitlin Clark. Uh, I think this was a smart decision actually by Sports Illustrated, which has been was an iconic, incredible magazine for so long, kind of became trash. Then they got called out and found out for having AI writers, and I don't mean just people who wrote AI generated articles, like writers who used AI to write their articles, but they actually had made up AI generated people. They weren't actually people. It was all AI generated. But it's a story for another day. But this is really cool. And of course, there are a few people like, well, this is all because of Caitlin Clark, so it should, and I think they're handling it right. The thing I don't like is this headline. There's much more to the W's most watched team than the Caitlin Clark show. I think that is unnecessary. It's kind of a passive, just in my opinion, it's a passive aggressive shot at Caitlin Clark, which they didn't need. But other than that, I have praise for it. I have no problem with this cover. I think it's really cool because the Indiana Fever, yes, it is thanks to Caitlin Clark, but the Indiana Fever have become America's team without a doubt. You get okay, like see, nice job, but it's a CC show and some cameos. See, I don't think that's necessary. Like in this, I agree. I don't like the headline, but I'm definitely buying this. Great article. So glad Mitchell stayed. Look at our girls, LFG. Incredible article. Truly, you hit it out of the park and on and on. America's team. Great article. And what I want to talk about, well, first, we all know Sheila Johnson's having a hissy fit right now and possibly a mental breakdown because the entire WNBA should be on the cover of the WNBA preview issue. We know that for a fact. Now, one thing I want to talk about, but well, before we get to that, just what is interesting for me, this, no matter how this season goes, I want to be fair, is the Indiana Fever did couple of things that I think are absolutely amazing that I'm going to give them props to, despite how it turns out, because there's always a risk. Y'all have heard me talk many times about my Eagles and what an incredible GM Howie Roseman is. That doesn't mean everything he does has worked out, right? That's impossible. We can't tell the future. But the changes they made, they realized, say, hey, you know what? After this rookie year, and it has to come from the top. Ultimately, it came from the top. So we got to give props to ownership. And they were like, "Hey, we've got Caitlin Clark. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to leverage something like that and make this team a dynasty, at least a team that for most of her career will be able to contend for titles." They didn't mess around. They didn't do a slow build. They looked at what she did and what she produced her rookie year, and they're like, you know what? We can't do this the slow way. We can't do this build over time stuff. We have to completely revamp and completely change not just the player roster, but the front office as well. Uh, New Fever president Kelly Kraskoff. said that there was clearly an accelerated growth opportunity that happened after the Olympic break. It was clear that we might need to speed up this opportunity to really capitalize on what we had in the moment. And of course, Kelly was really kind of the first domino, the first big change that was made for the Fever. Someone who had been with the team in the past. She had a really good career. She was involved. I believe she drafted Tamika Catchings and so on. So she was there for that championship. Then she got involved with the Pacers, and it took a lot, from my understanding, to kind of they had to pester her a little bit to come back, and she decided to do it. And then, of course, we got the coaching change. We got Stephanie White, and then we got the free agencies, not the least which was just re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. That was absolutely huge. Kelsey had her best season of her career last year. Now, keep in mind, she was always a great scorer. I believe she's currently fourth in the league. And so I think she was what, second or third, fourth, and I shouldn't say in the NCAA, so second or third when she graduated. Always a great scorer, but with Caitlin Clark, she was able to elevate that and not just be a better scorer, but more efficient scorer as well in the right way. Her shooting percentages went up. She got more quality shots. When she got to the bucket on backdoors and things like that, Caitlin Clark could get her the ball where in the past she might not get those passes. We saw all the TV ratings for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, but signing Kelsey Mitchell was a huge on backup seconds. I didn't mean to go away from Kelsey. I'm just trying to think of all the things that happened with Caitlin Clark and the Fever. But I think that was with the front office taken care of, Stephanie White bringing in a new coach. I think Kelsey Mitchell was sort of the first and highest priority for the team. I think it was for players like Kelsey and Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston, what we'll call that core big three. I think, Caitlin absolutely wanted Kelsey back. Aaliyah wanted Kelsey back. And I do get, see, that's the thing. I know a lot of people say, well, how could she just not come back right away? But look, I get it. She has spent her career on horrifically bad teams. I mean, before Caitlin got here, what I think they won 13 last year, but before that, I think three of their four seasons they won, I think like 8, 6, and 5, and there might have been a 9 or 10 in there as well. I mean, they were that bad. So, and this was Kelsey's first opportunity at free agency. So I get that. Like, I get looking around, seeing what's out there, seeing what other situations are available. And ultimately, she decided what she experienced last year, although a huge adjustment, especially for an introvert like Kelsey Mitchell. She's like, yeah, you know what? I want more of that. And then they brought in free agents who said, yeah, I want that. I want to play in front of that. I don't care that it's a pressure cooker. I don't care that it's in front of all these fans who are demanding, as most true sports fans are. I- I'm not going to blow smoke, man. Playing in Philly is not for many, it's not for a lot of athletes, because even the players and athletes they absolutely love, when you are going bad, you will hear it. You will absolutely hear it. You will get boos rained down on you. You will get crushed in local sports media, from not just the people doing the media, but the fans calling in and on and on. And so this was a huge opportunity for Kelsey Mitchell, but I can understand wanting to get out there. And the thing I really want to leave with you about how cool this is kind of on this other note, because we've talked about in the past back and forth about the WNBA and how they have this opportunity to leverage Caitlin Clark, and it seems like they're doing everything they possibly can to squash that, instead of taking advantage of it and leveraging it into new fans for other players and new fans for other teams and new fans of the league. They don't seem to want that. They seem to have done everything they can to suppress Caitlin Clark's achievements, suppress her the number of fans she has and all that, and downplay it on and on, whether it's, a whole season of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark and the rookie class. Ratings were up, Caitlin Clark and the rookie class, and on and on. Sheila Johnson, Caitlin Clark wins an individual award, and Sheila Johnson wants the whole WNBA to be on the cover. So, point, why am I connecting that to this? So glad you're still listening. Because what we have seen from the Indiana Fever is what the league needs to do. We are seeing a blueprint for the Indiana Fever, and the WNBA should be following it because, as we have seen with this, right, with this stuff from Sports Illustrated and how they're doing it, fever dream. And what do they call them? What have Caitlin Clark fans been calling this? America's team. The Indiana Fever are America's team. It's not the Caitlin Clarks. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be Caitlin Clark fans that check out if she's not there. But the Indiana Fever are doing the best possible job they can, I think. They've got new admin who's been amazing for the Indiana Fever and teams and giving them content, getting to know these other players. You know, Caitlin Clark fans are buying DeWanna Bonner jerseys, and they're buying Lexi Hull jerseys, and they're buying Sophie Cunningham jerseys, and they're buying Natasha Howard jerseys, and they've embraced Sydney Colson. You know, they are turning the Caitlin Clark fan base into an Indiana Fever fan base, and now the Indiana Fever have, God willing, all things going well, they have the next 10, 12, 15 years to transfer that into fans of the team and the franchise, even once Caitlin Clark retires. And of course, they can make Caitlin Clark a coach or a GM or a consultant, keep her attached to the team. We've done that with greats here in Philly. And they've done a fantastic job of it when you think about where we are after one season. And they're organically, now you got Sports Illustrated saying it, it came from the Caitlin Clark fans first, that this is America's team. The WNBA needs to pay attention to the Indiana Fever and follow that same blueprint for the league and leverage Caitlin Clark into making these fans permanent fans of the WNBA, so that when Caitlin Clark is no longer playing, the league doesn't have to fold. But I'm going to leave it there. I thought this was really cool. I'm going to go see if I can pick up a copy myself. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below, on the article, on the cover, on what I said about what the Fever are doing that the WNBA should follow. I haven't really heard anybody talk about that. So I'm curious what you all think. I'm going to leave it there. You know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Apparently there's a notification bell too. Maybe you smash that as well. I know some of you, Mike, shout out, or like YouTube just keeps turning it off on you and unsubscribing and all that. Like I said, it's wild what happens sometimes, but make sure you're still subscribed, and I will talk to you later.